honestly, I love this move that DogChamp are doing.
Yeah, it's a sick pick. I'm curious what they decide to go with here because you do have like your double core reveal, so they will just go and pick up Sladen's Marana, which makes sense. I mean, really good setup from like CK and as well as Ogre into those arrows. Now the question is whether or not like you can pick if this ends up being like a safe lane CK, you have more options from the off lane that you can set to pair this with, but normally when you see Maranas, like you got to have that connection from the mid lane as well. And Invoker is not that easy to do. It's like the tornado setup, but
Yeah.
that is not great. It's like tornado into cold snap, and you're like, please hit the arrow, but it's not easy. It's not easy.
It's also just pretty slow. It's not your knee jerk. You TP to the lane. You use the tornado. It's one of those situations where the invoker wants tornado to be the last spell to use just to secure a kill, and then he walks back to mid. But if he has to tornado first, and then the arrow has to land, it's very easy for DogChamp to just flood TPs here. And there's the snake. Okay, they're turning this into a war of attrition.
Snake Lady's pretty good. I remember we had a talk with DNM at one point, and we're like, why? Like, why do you pick this hero? And he's like, Snake Lady, good. So that was about it.
Yeah, they got coddled too.
Yeah.
Done. Donezo. I mean, and it's so annoying because now you're saying, okay, Osmium, you've got Invoker, and they do pick the Medusa into the Invoker. So again, playing into that EMP maybe a little bit more. It could be a little bit scarier, but at the same time, you have a very low damage 4 position right now. You're going to have this CK who needs to walk up to these team fights. It's where I think DogChamp maybe pick up one more team fight spell. I would love to see if they had the opportunity to put Relay on like a mid Mars or something. That'd be super sick. But I think they get one more spell like that, and then suddenly Osmium needs to look for more of those small fights, more of those skirmishes, as opposed to just running at
Yeah.
DogChamp. And I think Osmium, they want to outskill their opponents here. They're going to feel very confident. I mean, their team plan has really been, for the most part, surrounding Sebas on his Invoker and making space for Kataro, because Kataro goes for those slower items, goes for those bigger buildups, but it's where the Medusa gets a little bit too much space, and then suddenly Stonebank is a huge problem that your lineup very naturally isn't going to be able to deal with.
Yeah, and I think we've seen Kataro actually play the Medusa quite a bit. It's one of those things
Hmm.
where they could have actually picked themselves. It is a little bit rough into the Timbersaw just because of how quick he progresses your lane. But with like the CK off lane, the Invoker heroes that get pretty active early, you could have like fallen back on Kataro Medusa. But yeah, I'm a little bit curious what they decide to round out the draft with for DogChamp here because I think you're right. They do need a big team fight hero here. The Pangolier banned out, probably one of the better options. I do like the mid Mars suggestion. I actually think that would be super sick. It's not that bad into the Invoker lane. You get a single point in that Bulwark early, and you just kind of chill. It's really not that
Yeah,
bad. You just kind of chill with Bulwark. It's nice.
yeah. Invoker never really has enough damage to kill you. You've got better bat. You've got better base damage. You get to nuke out the wave. Both of your spells kill the wave till like what 10 minutes into a game. That's me. That if I'm DogChamp, that's what I would pick. Not to mention you get the Medusa Mars combo. You spear and then it makes them face. Oh, we love these combos. We love them. But
Yeah.
maybe they don't go for it just because really, he's a man who likes to play ranged heroes. The Queen of Pain is probably just as likely, even though I don't like Queen of Pain nearly as much. But he is really he's got a very specific set of tools that he usually likes to play with. Meanwhile, for Osmium, they need to choose: is it going to be the CK off lane? Are we going to change things up with the carry? Feel like we're going to see Kataro's hero most likely here in their last pick, just because
Agreed.
it makes the most sense draft wise. But at the same time, do you risk going for a hero like, let's say, the PL, and then you try to take this very late, and you pick into Timbersaw and
You
Medusa, and you
can't
have to
pick
play versus
PL
these
here.
ugly timings? It just feels like no matter what they choose, it might be a little bit too scary. And I think both the bands from DogChamp, both the Monkey and their AM, were probably your best solutions.
Yeah, if you go PL, like DogChamp, just pick Leshrac or something, right? Like it's pretty
Really,
rough.
a classic.
Yeah, it's like a Royal Classic. It's good in lane against the Invoker. It's really not that bad. Like, yes, you get like mana burned, but like you just kind of free farm. Like you just clear out the wave, and then you go jungle.
Templar
Ooh,
Assassin.
Okay. TA, I think this is a really good pick. This is a pretty solid pick.
no,
She
I
doesn't really
forgot about
suffer
it.
to the Timbersaw. She's like pretty solid in the Medusa as well. It's a Kataro classic. So now you need something that can help deal with refraction instances because you do not have that on the side of DogChamp right now. Like there's no real solid answer to the TA.
Yeah, and I'm racking my brain here because it does feel like DogChamp, they need that actual initiator because that's something they just don't have right now. They love
Hmm.
someone to push down that mid tower a little bit faster as well, and it's a pretty fast pick. And
Tiny
Okay.
mid.
We've been seeing the tiny mid get a little bit more speed, and that's a pretty classic matchup versus the Invoker, where
Yeah.
he's still going to EMP you. You're just going to nuke out the wave. You're going to try to be efficient with your avalanche damage. But versus the TA, I am a little bit concerned. Guitarro has a very good core matchup versus pretty much everybody on the DogChamp side here if he's able to get a little bit too much farm. And as we always talk about with the TA, if he gets those first two Aegises, that's your easy path to a victory. That's your 25-minute TA that isn't slowing down, that takes all of your buildings, kills everybody aside from maybe the Medusa here. But I think Guitarro has a really terrifying power spike that DogChamp are gonna need to avoid.
Yeah, I think this one's kind of a toss up for me. Like speed really has to shut down this like TA from the off lane, and that's not easy to do. Like TA can kind of just sit back and chill, and there is kill threat even onto the Timber Saw just because Psyblade's pretty good
Mhm.
pure damage. So it's yeah, we'll see how it goes. The tiny mid, man, I think Roya playing Tiny into Invoker is like definitely supposed to be like a slightly favored Tiny, but Sebas has like really impressed me in this tournament so far, and I think he's going to do pretty dang good on the Invoker here.
Yeah, and we talked about the Invoker making those TP rotations to the Mirana's lane. If the Mirana comes mid, that's a really easy setup. And I think that's where DogChamp need to be very careful about how they rotate their supports in and out of these lanes, because if Rulia ever needs help, whether it's B9 or Yaren, it's where we could see the side lanes start to collapse and fold inwards, and it's something that they have to avoid. And I think that's where, if Rulia, at least skill-wise, can match up versus Sebes, that's going to be the beginning. That's where he needs to be very stable. He has to be very calm. And we'll have to see if he goes for the pretty typical Blink Dagger rush on the hero, or if he maybe gets a little bit smart going for possibly the phase boots and the wand here. But this is a lane where you want to take it slow on the tiny. It's a farming lane. It's where you want to get as many items as possible, and you need to find a solution for your mana, because if you're ever caught without it, well, you're a pretty useless hero. It's where, very simply, if Sebas needs to, he just follows the tiny around, just EMPs him off cooldown, and then suddenly Roya is really pressed for a play.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see. Osmium are smoked up here as finally they go for the wraparound to the top rune. That smoke's going to pop, though, and there's already a ward in place, so
Oh,
counter ward into an instant D ward. All right. Nicely done there by DogChamp. I mean, they'll go ahead and D ward themselves, right? Yeah, they will. Yarn's not going to leave that one up to be taken by the enemy team.
got it at 1 HP, just in case. The deniability is there, but
Ooh.
arrow?
Just done into arrow.
No.
It ends up connecting on the tiny, so B9 able to dodge that one out for the moment, but ends up being a 2-for-2 on the runes as expected, and B9 will just go ahead and finish off that observer ward. So to the lanes we go. How do you feel about this Quelling Blade Medusa? I'm not sold on this item. Is it exclusively to cut trees? Is that it?
It's exclusively to cut trees. This is like a thing Stonebank likes to do especially. He's one of the few Medusas I've seen recently that hasn't been starting with just the flat out wand, which I know is,
It's like
European,
one triple
but
tank or one triple Iron Branch. It's like
one triple branch. Yeah, that's like the normal build, and we'll have to see if he, maybe doesn't get that much efficiency, but it's dire, right? So you can maybe say it's a little bit more worth because of how your medium camps play out, but it's still kind of just a whatever move. Meanwhile, B9 actually needs to be careful.
Ooh, there's the arrow to follow. That might be the first blood. It is. Goes to the CK.
CK is just so strong. Chaos Bolt does so much damage. You just use it right off the waves, and even though it still costs, 200 or 300 mana, that's your free first blood, and that's a lot of gold for the CK.
Dude, I did not realize Chaos Bolt has 180 potential max damage at level 1.
Oh yeah, it just hurts. It's not fun. It's not easy to deal with, and then you just get turned on because you're playing Bane. You want to be up in their face. You want to brain sap. You want to get the trades going your way, but it's where, unfortunately, you just rolled a little too high.
Dude, average damage is 135 on this ability? What?
It's not cool. It's not cool.
That's pretty good. All right, let's take a look at mid lane. We've got Sebas on his Invoker, Rioya on the Tiny, and as expected, it's going pretty good for the Tiny to start things off, but Sebas evening it up. So 8-2 to 8-1, pretty much dead even.
Yeah, you've got maybe a little bit more base damage on the Tiny, but That's where the only factor you can really use to kind of change things in a crazy way is if you do get those power runes for you. But that's honestly where it's more important for Osmium to rotate to keep it out of the hands of the Tiny than it is really for Sebas to get it in his pocket. And he has Quas Flex, so not going to see any cheeky Forge Spirits denying the runes out from Ryoya.
Yeah, the downside is Quaswex into the Tiny because he has such a small mana pool. It's like you don't get a lot of mana back even once you have like more points in the EMP. So you'll burn like his whole mana pool and you're like, all right, cool. And he just bottles. You're like, okay.
Yeah. All he has to do is nuke the wave, and then you can't really lose this, to be honest, on Tiny. It's where Sebas trailing him around the map is really going to be the name of the game.
Yeah. All right. I mean, so far, lane's going pretty good for Osmium, but my only real worry is going to be like this Timbersaw. Like if he doesn't, I mean, he hasn't died yet, but it's like if he doesn't actually start to apply a lot more pressure to this TA, I really do worry that Kataro is just going to like run away with this game.
Yeah, I'm also pretty surprised to see both Yarn and Speed sitting dead even in terms of XP, not seeing that Timbersaw just get absolutely everything here, with Yarn taking more of the stack approach, just because this is a hero you want to be level 6 on. It's where the game changes. It's where I think if Kataro can get those traps up maybe a little bit sooner, because Katyu is also, you know, taking a lot of XP, but is certainly going to look to rotate out when those runes do come up. Well, then suddenly it's that much more difficult to get onto Kataro's tower, and then you already see him kind of getting pushed back by very low-level TA, which is not what you want to see.
Yeah, once you get those extra points in like Meld Strike and Psyblades, like this lane gets pretty scary. And he didn't even pick up Psyblades quite yet. He's just relying on the minus armor from Meld Strike and then that bonus refraction damage, and it's working. Speed's not sitting on any he's not sitting on any reactive armor stacks because he just gets zoned out from the wave.
No, this is not the way that they want this lane to go. And again, if you are not giving all of that XP over to Speed, the recovery's not going to be there. It's where I really am surprised that Yarn is sticking around as much as he is.
Just really well played on the lanes. I mean, Kataro on the TA is having a grand time.
Yeah, 25 and 8. I mean, this is a monster, actually.
All right, so where do you see like late game here? Like who does one team like have like a solid advantage over the other? Because like a lot of what we're seeing is just this like get one item, get BKB, and start fighting type of thing. But you have a Medusa and a TA on each side, so it's like I feel like we're gonna see a lot more of like the kind of forward protect one almost. Oh my gosh, Speed does end up finally dying bottom.
Yeah, I've been watching that and just seeing just the slow, insidious death. No salve, no nothing like that. It's really sad. And I think, honestly, once you do break down to those late game stages, it's really close. But at the end of the day, Osmium have more stuns. They have more disable. It's where everything is going to be about whether or not Ryoya can find an initiation here and whether Speed can give him the vision to actually make that jump. It's where I think Osmium have a few too many cards to play if we do see that incredibly late game situation play out. Even though you have a Medusa, even though you have a Timbersaw, which are heroes that scale fantastically, I just am very, very concerned. I am really worried about what it takes for DogChamp to actually find that team fight around the Roche pit. And with the way that lanes are going, I don't know if we're going to see them walk into that really easy mid game. And yeah, it's close.
A Nightmare? He
has a leap.
No brain sap, so Sladen might be able to get out of this. And you still got 2 more leaps available as well. And it just heads north. I'm assuming a TP to base. Oh, quick little snipe of the catapult before doing so. Nicely done.
And they were nuking the lane.
We're gonna see the EMP come through. We'll burn Ryo's mana after he finishes off the ogre there. Nice tree toss kill. And a good rotation, honestly, from Yarn as well. Just being able to, you know, try and fight for the room. It ends up being top, which is, you know, very good for the Invoker. It's a DD as well.
Fortunately for DogChamp, he's not going to be able to rotate with it just because the CKO is just now arriving to the lane. But yeah, you got to be careful here. At the very least, with Yarn's rotation as well, got Ryoya the bounty rune, so the Tiny can still exist for a little bit. But this is annoying. And
arrow. There it is.
That's so good.
Yeah, that is the combo we're talking about. It's not the easiest to work with, but you know the tornado cold snap into arrow. It's enough stun if your Murano's not too far away. And with a DD rune, you got plenty of damage to finish him off. So
It's rough. It's so quiet from Sebas as well, just with his intentions there. You get him with the wave pushing in. He thinks he's safe. Even glyphs just to be sure there's no Ava coming. I mean, that was really going out with a whimper. He got nothing off.
Yeah. That was really sick. Yeah, top net worth though, already the TA 3,500. And like what we saw in the lane, it makes sense. She's got a bloodlust as well from Catyu, so this TA is just going to be farming incredibly fast as we get into that mid game. And have they been making stacks for her? Not quite yet, but they're looking at speed bottom. Slayton does have that arrow primed, ready to go. Catyu will have to set it up. I don't know if the two of them have the damage. Like, he's got 3 points reactive armor.
Yeah, he's not going to get 6 from this wave, though. He's maybe another ranged and a melee creep off here. And now it's just whether they can get him on the TP, because he's going to have to go under the tower maybe to dodge this out. Oh,
nice arrow. Yeah, good placement there from Slayton in the perfect time. Fire blast speed. Trying to keep himself alive. Pops a stick. Tabor chains away, and it might be enough. Those 18 reactive armor stacks? Nah, you got a tornado in from Sebas. And one more meld strike from Kataro is going to do it. So Timbersaw's game even worse. And this is like the worst feeling when you're playing Timbersaw, right? Because the whole point is this is when you need to be snowballing the game. And if you're not, this hero plays so bad from behind, right?
No, it's where you want to be underneath your carry's tower right now. You want to be tanking a creep wave. You do not want to be playing versus a level 7 TA. And even though Yaren is trying to get rid of these traps with the sentry, Kataro is fine down here. He doesn't need to rotate to the jungle. It's where you need to force the TA to that triangle right now. Otherwise, the game is not getting started here. And I think that's where Speed, sitting as low net worth as he is, he needs the Tiny now to rotate over. I mean, he's still battling for his level 6, and he will finally get it. But without the real instigation from Ryoya, and he has a haste rune at the very least, we need to see a play to fix this laning situation.
Yeah. Ryoya gets his level 8 here, so a little bit of a stronger Avatos combo. It's... The thing is like, I don't know if it's enough to kill the TA. If she has the refraction charges up, she's going to block so much of that damage that comes out from the Avatos.
It's just, without that play being made, though, and Speed is, at the very least, able to farm up some neutral camps, get a lot of those tier 1 items to his team. They're just utilizing way more of the map. Osmium are playing basically a 3-core lineup right now, with the CK who is also farming just as well. And they could find Kataro here.
And they saw him on the ward. Oh, Ryoya, he thought he didn't find him, but refraction blocks the entire avalanche damage, and Kataro's just gonna try and run away. They do have a toss in a second. Oh, he pops a trap to slow them. They can't close the gap in time, but finally, another avalanche speed is in as well. He's got those refractions, gonna pop it last second, but they finally managed to bring him down. So Kataro will fall. What was he? Was he TPing back mid to like save the tower or something? Was that what he was planning?
He was really just TPing back mid. If he doesn't get that vision there,
oh my gosh, Sebas stole the DD.
Open. Oh, that's so brutal for Ryoya. No way, the arrow. Okay, nice dodge at the very least,
dodge,
but oh man, if they didn't get that TA bot, that would have been such a heartbreak. They would have lost everything. At least they punished Osmium for playing so solidly all around the map, but at the same time, there had to be a punish from DogChamp eventually. Otherwise, they're just running behind everywhere. And now the CK, he's looking to take top with the cart. And this is a situation where you'd love to rotate your Timbersaw out, but Kataro feels confident enough to TP back bottom. It just is still just Osmium utilizing everything and so much more. I'm very concerned. We need to see the next play right now from DogChamp. Really, TP into the lanes need to make something happen again.
Instead, Sebas is coming bottom. They want to be able to punish this Timbersaw. There's the arrow connection. All of your mana's gone. And he will fall once again. So, yeah, Timbersaw, one of the heroes. It's 11 minutes into the game. He still hasn't been able to take the tier 1 tower. They've punished him every single attempt at doing so.
And CK gets to farm top. It's just the simple problem where Osmium are basically getting away with murder right now. They're playing in 3 lanes, and they're not getting punished for it. And now that we're past 10 minutes, at least we have the grip from our Bane. We can make a smoke play with him, but I already talked about before, it's a really hard game to get a grip off unless you have space makers in front of you. All it takes is a TP in from the Invoker, and with all these tier 1 standing for Osmium, Sebas can be everywhere he needs to be, and Is that a Midas? Yeah, that's a full Midas flying out from your Invoker. So Sebas isn't even going for the greedy rush of that Spirit Vessel. He is gearing up to go late. And with the 12-minute Midas, I mean, he is ready for this fight.
I mean, he's going to get the Vessel at a decent timing, too, if he decides to finish it. Like,
Yeah,
it's really not that bad. Like, they've shut down the Timber Saw so heavily, they know there's no Lotus coming out anytime soon. So, and no BKBs, of course. So I think it allows him. He's just like, yeah, I can get Midas. I'll go back for the Vessel, and it'll still be it'll still be technically on time for the Timber. And Kataro now cleaning up the Ancient stacks. We haven't really talked about Stone banking a little bit on the Medusa. Still sitting at second on the network, so they do have that going well for them. But, you know, Invoker as well as Chaos Knight really aren't that far behind.
Yeah, and really, I think the only issue for Stonebank, and it comes out with your Bane getting that level 6 from really without the tome, you're not seeing Stonebank able to accelerate level-wise nearly as fast. So he doesn't have his ulti. He has 1 point mana shield. Stonebank really isn't going to be battle ready for quite some time here. And with the Timbersaw being forced to take the stabs, you're not seeing him get his XP that way. At least top lane, this could be a good situation here. They're so separated from the tower, and this is a guaranteed grip.
Sladen goes for the arrow, but it's tanked by Yaren. Well done. The Avalanche, the toss back in onto the CK. All right. Very, very good play there from DogChamp. Just like you were talking, they need to do this.
Yeah, and that was the only play they would hate to lose Stonebank mid, but at least with the stick, he's going to just barely be okay. But yeah, that is not only the only play they can make, but the play that they have to. Without that, they're not getting their Tiny Blink any faster. They're not really doing anything on the map. They get the bottom tower at the same time just through attrition of the creeps, but would love to see them smoke up again if they can, because this is really a blink. This would be their next timing to catch off an Osmium hero, as well as if they can get out onto the map with Osmium kind of teeping out onto the lanes here, they might be able to find another opportunity where they catch a hero off guard here. Unfortunately, Qatar has farmed out their entire triangle, so the Medusa has nowhere to play.
Yeah. Oh, Avalanche toss, and Cat goes down. So, not the kill that they really wanted, but they'll take it. You know, that is the blink reveal, but now you do have to be careful. Tiny is level 10. He's got the, you know, the 4 like points in both Avalanche and Toss, so his combo is pretty much online now.
Yeah, he's got enough damage to pretty much kill anyone he needs to. He loves to find Mirana specifically. That's his free kill, even though he went mid. It's a little bit awkward.
Yeah, Tornado off the mark. Okay. Yeah, they thought they might be able to get the CK there. But, yeah, TP response. I mean, they forced 3 TPs to the mid lane. And Osmium is just going to smoke in response. They do have a nice deep ward here that has vision of the Medusa. And they've got to trap that scouting B9 as well. So if they can get this wraparound into this jungle, it's a big win for them. But they are going underneath the ward. Mid lane, Kataro actually walks right into him. Sladen's going to come through as well. There's the arrow, though. It connects right onto the Tiny. Katara will be able to make it away for the moment, but continuously being chased there, gets the Spirit Vessel out from Yaren. So a really solid trade from DogChamp in speed. Ooh, ends up canceling his his Chakram there. Does get the mana back. B9 with the Fiend's Grip, honestly, but interrupted. Nice Tornado as well. Cat on the backside, just getting clicked down from Stonebank. The slows just too much, and from Yarn as they get himself a double kill on the Medusa. Ends up being a 3-for-1. A beautiful fight from DogChamp all around.
Yeah, they pretty much executed exactly what they needed to. They caught so many Osmium heroes out away from that tier 1, a little bit closer to the high ground, and I don't think DogChamp really get anyone. I think it's just too easy of a retreat for Osmium to make, but they get caught out, they get a little bit too far up. It's before the CK's Blink Dagger as well, because his courier was dead. Just a fight that I don't think Osmium needed to force necessarily, even though speed... he's without stacks for a little bit here.
He's wanting to force the objective, and they want that tier 1 Tornado. He's not going to be able to Timber Chain away, and he's on the wrong side of this, but a nice blinding light, and Kataro's just dead twice. Speed does finally end up going down. Sunstrike will connect onto Yar in the chase, continuing from Sladen, leap after leap. He will be able to take down the Coddle. Ryoya on the run. Almost manages to take down the Chaos Knight, but it's not going to happen. A win back the other direction this time. They do get the tower at least, but I mean, that's a good one for Osmium, but you still lose. It's so hard to say it's a win because you lost a Templar Assassin again, 2 deaths back to back.
Yeah, and it's one of those unfortunate situations where if you win that fight with the TA, well, this is Aegis. This is the first Rosh of the game, and then you get to start snowballing from there. So it certainly slows down his game plan, maybe a little bit more there. But can you imagine if Speed stays alive a little bit longer there? So many heroes so close to death. Fortunately, B9, he's the one who's going to eat the insta-death now, but
Ooh.
it's time for a retreat.
They're
Yeah,
going
Osmium have
Stone Gaze.
overstayed.
Speed's in. And I mean, he's got nothing he can do with this Phantasm thanks to the Timber Saw. And he's going to be able to continue chasing the CK here. Nice Chaos Bolt does come out, but a well-placed Chakram's going to slow him down. And there it is. They will find a nice tip there as well.
It's just a game of overextensions now at this point. Unfortunately, there's no tier 1 for either side to take, so I think now focusing on that next objective is really going to be the most difficult part of this game because really, it is Roche. It's Osmium finding a smoke pick into getting that first Aegis, and without it, the game is going to kind of halt for a little bit here. I think maybe after Katara looks at his Blink Dagger, we could see them immediately go in, but that's where top. Just the free kills. Really finds another one.
Dude, this Coddle is doing so much work with this Chakra magic. Like, Ryoya, yeah, gets completely mana burn, goes to 0 mana, instantly topped back off with Chakra magic. Like, it is ridiculous how much work Yarn's doing on the Coddle already.
No, it's one of those broken aspects of a hero in a very similar vein to Pugna, where you EMP combo the Tiny, you think he has 0 mana, you think you can show, because he shouldn't have mana, he shouldn't be ready to jump you, but spells like Chakra, spells like the Pugna Suck, they just give you that tool immediately back, and then what feels like it shouldn't be a mistake is a mistake because you show so quickly, and they're just keeping the plays going. This is another Avatos. They need Dust, though. Or they need to just chain them together.
Oh my gosh, they just get him. The Chakram perfectly placed. And this was, again, such a sick smoke. The Callous Knight was scouting with his Phantasms, being like, all right, I'm safe over here. But they just find the right one. Kataro grabs a DD rune here. That being said, Fiend's Grip comes out, instantly canceled. B9 gonna regret that when Ryoya goes in. Avalanche toss onto Kataro. He's falling low and fast, and he dies for a 3rd time. His 4th death of the game.
Yeah, this is not the safe Kataro. This is not the hero on the other side of the map letting his teammates die for him. It feels like, really, he's laying down his life in front of heroes like Sebas, who is still having a fantastic Invoker game, but this is not Kataro TA. He is not doing the performance we're used to seeing from him. At the same time, Stonebank has eclipsed him. Stonebank is looking at the Scotty. Stonebank is the one who's going to have the better team fight in these really big engagements, and there's no Aegis on your TA. Osmium need to fix this TA problem now, otherwise you're going to see him get completely shut out of this game.
He's pretty far from the BKB. It's so funny, like Ryoya's like, all right, special delivery, here, have a kill, sir, have fun.
Yeah, and now, even though Ryoya is certainly falling behind in farm, I mean, he's behind the CK of all things, if he's finding the initiations, it feels like he's playing a 4 Tiny pretty much, but it's just working.
And there it is, Katyu's dead right away, and they will be able to maybe trade for Yarn here as it will finally go down. Sebas finds the kill there, and now Sladen looking for B9. Gets far enough away, though. Ooh. He's going to try and run. He will survive for the moment, but yeah, not with the CK in. Actually, CK's illusions are gone. He is all alone. They're going to be able to try and just chase him down. Speed's got Chakram to pursue, but a nice tornado might finish off B9. Gets the stick off just barely, but there's going to be the trap. He gets tossed in. They want to try and get the brain set, but it just tosses a corpse instead. But with that Soul Ring, Speed will be able to finally finish off the CK.
Yeah, but the core is, it's still just so ugly from Osmium. They keep on trading in these really unadvantageous ways. At the very least, they got Yarn first, right? They stopped that easy reset. As I say that, though, he's just going to TP back and give both the Timber and the Tiny all the mana they could possibly want, but it still feels like they're not getting the engagements they want. And without these successful engagements, I don't think Osmium have really made a smoke attempt since their failure in mid as well. It's time for them to make their next play. I just don't see what the next move is. Sabas has an Ags queued up of all things, but okay, this might be a nice throw from Ryoya.
It's a really nice bait, but they still managed to take down Katyu. Ryoya falling low, but there it is, topped back off in mana. He's got a regen rune in his pocket as well. Speed thinking of just going in, doing what damage you can. The Moonlight Shadow making it a little bit difficult to pursue. This ward on the backside has scouted them so many times. B9 does find it now, so that ward did like kind of let them know that this engagement was coming, but they still, it's just unpunished. Like Ryoya just lives.
Yeah, I cannot believe he's cold snapped, he's tornadoed, he's arrowed underneath the tower. But with the Timbersaw in between, they just don't have enough damage. And I think, more importantly, Osmium are just not confident right now. They are terrified of these cores. They are constantly getting jumped on. They're constantly getting pressured up.
Oh, they
Kataro
found
has
Kataro.
BKB.
They found Kataro. He does manage to take down the Bane right away, and they got the Timbersaw as well. Beautifully done. Stonebank is in. He's got that Scotty completed. There's going to be the Stone Gaze trying to push them back. We'll be able to hold down the Ogre for the moment, but Ryoya, he needs to get in this fight, and unfortunately, he can't. He's just got that Ignite on him, so he's just kind of having to stand still. There's going to be the Chaos Bolt into the arrow. The BKB from Kataro just beating down the Medusa, but can they actually finish him off? Stonebank gets the Manta, still surviving, topped off again by the Coddle. Kataro, can he do it, though? The TA is enough with the refractions to finally bring down this Medusa. On the backside of the fight, the Bane trying to rotate in. They just go ahead and trade. He's gone at Fiend's Grip. Does he even need to use it? Sladen's got no jump away. It's going to be the way of Yaren on the Coddle. So a 4 for 4 and a buyback is what we end up seeing. I mean, honestly, a pretty solid fight from Osmium on that BKB reveal.
Yeah, and Kataro just got to hold it for so long. He was really underneath no pressure. They catch the Timbersaw with no stacks because he's in between the waves. He's not exactly sitting in a neutral camp to build up those stacks beforehand. But also, just Stonebank not using the Stone Gaze before his Timbersaw is already dead, then getting 4-second stone on the high ground because they don't have the vision. I feel like DogChamp kind of executed a very poor team fight, and that was a lot of kills that Kataro was able to participate in, even though he does get cleaned up by the Titans. A lot of XP, but again, this is too crazy. They're fighting the triangle, too much vision. They might get the Ogre, but this is going to be a pretty fast retreat call. They need to be scared of the TA respawning now.
Yeah, B9 wanted that Fiend's Grip really badly. Like, he knew they had vision of him because as soon as he got within range of Sabas, he just ghost walked and ran away. And he just chased all the way in, popped the dust, but yeah. Nah, there's no chance you're getting away with that one. So a 1-for-1 trade. So they still managed to protect their triangle, and they have a lot of vision here, which, you know, makes sense. They do not want to lose that.
Max level Exhort, Ag's done on Sebes. It's all whether or not we see the CK actually make that jump, and he's able to pull down a core. Yaren's got a Wraith Pact as well. He's going to cast it.
He gets the Wraith Pact down. It's going to reduce a lot of the damage, but my god, yeah, the Cataclysm still manages to find the kill. They don't have detection, do they? Kataro's just going to start laying into Stonebank. Now that Stone Gaze is over, he's all alone. He needs to be very careful. Turn his attention over to Sladen. Kataro's BKB doing a lot of work, but it's about to expire, and Stonebank still got a lot of health to work with. Sabas gets away with the Ghost Walk, but Kataro, he's all alone. Nice blink over from Ryoya as well to help finish off Cat Use. So it ends up being a 4-for-1, and Sabas just barely surviving.
Yeah, and Sebes doing a great job in these fights. He's trying to keep Ryoya as far away from the fight as possible. He knows that if Ryoya is able to just simply blink Avitas the TA after his BKB, he loses that fight versus Stonebank, but Stonebank's too big. He's got the Scotty. That fight was just so long. It was so messy. The TA tried to stay on target for such a long period of time, and the numbers just aren't there. Your TA is not high enough level. You don't have that much of a lead going against him. And now the Medusa team has the Aegis in the TA versus Medusa matchup. This is a nightmare situation for Osmium.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing, too, is, like, we see how strong the Medusa is, and this was without the Coddle in that fight. Like, he wasn't dropping Chakra Magic into her in the middle of this fight either. We're going to see in the triangle here, a nice Tornado into Arrow is going to find B9, but the Avitas, and he gets the Avalanche, but no Toss, going to throw him in now. There's going to be the Chaos Knight, holding down the Tiny for the moment, but looks like they're just going to go ahead and disengage here on Osmium, take the kill onto the Bane. Your tier 2 tower might be in trouble. You got a Catapult pushing this one in. All right, never mind. They're just going to go ahead and leave.
Yeah, they're closing off the map instead. Honestly, don't disagree with them all too much here. They know the longer the fight they take, the more obnoxious it's going to be, and they've got room to grow. 1,000 gold till BKB on the Tiny. I think Speed's about to finish up his Lotus Orb. I think he actually has his Lotus Orb if he wants it. He just needs to disassemble his Arcane Boots. But this smoke, I don't know. This is a weird from Osmium. They're trying to catch these heroes separate, and there is an isolated Timbersaw right now. He did just show between the waves top, but if Speed can connect with his team, the only way I think DogChamp really starts to lose grasp of this lead right now is if they do start splitting. If Speed shows on the mid wave, that'd be the only mistake he could really make here, but They get the safe tier 2, they get the outpost, and then suddenly Osmium have to adopt that split push style, one where it's going to be a long time before we see them take another honest fight.
I mean, they're just going to threaten the bottom.
Yeah,
They've got
going up.
Aegis on the Medusa. Like, why not? What's going to stop them from just going high ground? Got everything they need. Catapult's still alive. They're going to go ahead and start TPing back here on the side of Osmium. TA and the Chaos Knight still not here quite yet. Wraith Pack goes down.
Oh, man. This is so rough.
Yeah. Fort for the moment. That will clean up the rest of the catapult and not save your tower, though. That is definitely not going to save your tier 3, so that will fall. Invoker doing what he can, but it's just not enough. Do you just concede this lane of barracks? Because you have tier 2s up in your other lanes. I don't think you have any other choice.
Yeah, no, they literally have to give it up for time here, and this was a really smart play from DogChamp, because at the end of the day, if they get Glyph bottom, they're going to get something. They're either going to get the complete bottom racks, or they're going to swing for both the mid and the top tier 2, something they could still even go for here. At the very least, Osmium bought a lot of time by conceding that bot racks without sending their cores back just yet, but if DogChamp find any wave and they don't find a pickup on Osmium in the meantime, they're going to start getting folded in on it. I feel like we're going to see DogChamp immediately do the same thing to the mid wave. I don't know if there's been enough time in between these fights, as there's a TP top trying to catch
His
someone.
TP got canceled, but Ryoya's didn't. The Avalanche, they don't have detection again. Ryoya, get yourself some dust, man.
But they cancel the TP. They know he's not going to be anywhere for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Mid lane Katyu, he is under a sentry, and he's going to regret that one. Finished off here pretty quickly by speed.
Hero plays from Sladen.
Yeah, just trying to cut the wave. He's going to leave one creep, but it will slow this down enough to where they might not get the tower. Oh, the Sunstrike? Oh my god. That was sick. Just Sunstriking a single creep, and Sladen is pulling the wave once again.
Yeah, and you know, he had to wait for it to go out of his Obsword vision, you know, make it look even cooler. But you know, it's those plays where time is the name of the game. You want full items. You want your next set, basically, for Osmium, because things aren't looking too hot, especially for Yosuke. He's kind of done. He just finished off his BKB at the very least, but I'm so scared for Katara
Yarn has
right
a
now.
gem right now. If he finds this TA top.
Yeah, no, that is super scary. Sebas even, I think, just ported up here. Yeah. I guess they're waiting for that mistake. They're waiting for that isolated hero to show up, but, well, Stonebank with 45 seconds on his Aegis, he could poke your mid tower, and this is all going to be real damage. Yeah, this is damage that is going to be felt, and Osmium, I think they kind of just have to make the immediate retreat here, but they could make the choice, the really difficult choice to sack another Rax here, but is it really going to be worth it? Kataro needs time, though, to actually buy the items that he's been able to build up here, whether it's a Daedalus or he does go for the MKB. He's sitting on a lot of gold, but this feels way too slow.
He just needs the MKB. Like, you've got the Butterfly finished up on the Medusa, the Aegis for another 13 seconds. Like, if you come to this fight without it, you're not going to be able to kill this hero. And CK trying to pull speed underneath the tier 4 towers, but they lose the melee barracks. And here comes the backside fight. Sladen is in. Nice meatball meteor combo, but you need the TA to get active. They've gone on to speed on the bottom side of the fight, but there it is, the Stone Gaze. They get a lot of space to Kataro. He's got to pop this BKB and run, but he just can't. He's slowed up so much. Nice tornado there to slow down Stonebank and Ice Wall as well, but Kataro, his whole BKB spent running. They're going to turn around onto speed. The chain stuns are there. He's gone a little bit too far, but a nice blinding light from Yarn. The heals come through as well. He's going to survive the takedown CK instead. Ryoya doing work. Big Cataclysm. Doesn't finish off B9. And Stonebank is just in. He doesn't care. He's just all by himself on the front lines. Kataro barely surviving. A 4-staff gets him just outside of that to illuminate, but it seems DogChamp almost unkillable here as the Avalanche comes through. They found Savas to toss back into the Medusa. He's going to survive thanks to the Ghost Walk, but can they bring down Ryoya? They do, but it costs you your TA without buyback. What can you do?
I think that should just be it here. Yeah, Ryoya even just buys back just to make sure, but It's just too much. It's the blind light. It's Yaren. It's been the Yaren show for a while here. He's been so quiet. He's just been doing everything right, to be honest. And I think that's where Osmium, they don't have Kataro playing nearly well enough on this TA. He falls too far behind. The CK got counter-picked in the draft by the Timbersaw. And then it's all up to Sebas. And Sebas, I think he's ending 8-0-11, but it's just not enough from the Invoker.
Yeah, I mean, he did really well to start it off, but I'll be honest, Roya had such a sick mid-game performance. Like, even though he was the lowest net worth core, he was doing so much. He found a ton of kills, mostly just punishing Ogre. Like, he found Catyu, I mean, I don't know if it actually shows. How many times did he kill Ogre? Like 5 times? He literally killed Ogre 5 times. Like, he was just over and over and over finding this Ogre. And, yeah, just really well done by him. Stonebank getting a lot of farm. Overall, sick game from the side of DogChamp. They just kept their cool and turned it around. Not really what I expected.
Yeah, it's not what I expected either, and I think it's really where Kitaro just dropped the ball. I don't think I've ever seen Kitaro die as much as I've seen in this game. Kitaro is the type of player in almost a K1 Hector style where he will let everything die before he dies. He will be doing his own game plan because that is the game plan. It is him farming, waiting for his next moment. It just felt like he showed up to one too many fights, like he was really scrambling for that revenge play when maybe he just should have taken a step back a little bit because if your times are maybe a little bit faster, you fight versus weaker opponents. And I think really in those 1 or 2 engagements where it felt like Osmium are winning, they get a 4 for 3, they get a 4 for 2, but they lose the TA no matter the situation. It was just a little bit too much focus and too much attention brought to him specifically, where you never got that TA snowball going. You never got that Aegis in his hand. We know how important the first Aegis is. Usually we talk about the second Aegis when a team wants to finish the game, and that was never in sight for Katara this game.
Yeah, just didn't matter. If you got the first Aegis, you get a line of barracks, and like, there's just no map left for Osmium to play around. It was just dodge the side of DogChamp, but they're just, I mean, they're just too strong. Like, Yaren's build, perfectly done. That Spirit Vessel, 4-staff Wraith Pack, just a lot of utility coming out from the Coddle this game. But yeah, we gotta go to a short break because we have game number 2 coming up. We'll see if Osmium can pull this one back, force a game 3. If not, DogChamp looking pretty happy as they'll be able to advance themselves. Again, this is a lower bracket elimination game. Oh, you know what we should do? We should probably talk about our sponsor, HyperX, before we go to a quick break. It feels like this is the first series of the day because we just, had a double forfeit earlier. But I mean, this is our last series, so it's a pretty good time to talk about HyperX,
Yeah.
the sponsor of our tournament. ET, I can see you rocking that brand new Alpha wireless cloud headset. Tell us, how does it feel?
I don't feel it. It's just not there. It's so light. It's literally not there. I mean, that's the best thing in my opinion, is just always going to be on top of your head and you're just gonna be like, okay, bye.
Yeah, yeah. It was funny earlier. You're like, hold on, I'll be right back. Yeah, I can still hear you, of course, because it's wireless and it's very nice, and you can just kind of walk around your house. I was talking to Neff yesterday. He has a mansion, as we all know, and he just goes all over his house, walking around with his headset, and just forgets it's there all the time. But yeah, so big shout out to HyperX. For those of you who maybe don't know, if you're just tuning in for the first time, there is a discount. You can get your hands on one of these headsets yourself for 20% off plus free shipping using code BTS Alpha WL. You have to follow a link in Twitch chat. We got one of those running there, as well as a banner below the stream. So just go ahead and do that. And if you want a free one, you can enter the giveaway at bts.gg/pro series giveaway for your chance to get yourself one of these Cloud Alpha wireless headsets or even some BTS merch. And you have until the 29th. It's coming up real fast, only a few more days. US residents only, so apologies to all of our non-US friends, as we still love you, but unfortunately this is just a US only giveaway. And what can you do? But yeah, ET, I'm sure. How long have you been using that headset? Have you had to chargers? Because Neff has gone like a full month without having to charge it yet.
Every time I put them on, they say to me with their beautiful British voice, 80%. It's been 80% the
Since you
past
got it,
the
it just
past
hasn't.
month.
Yeah, it just hasn't gone down.
It hasn't not been 80%. I can say that.
It's pretty wild. All right. Well, we're gonna go to our quick break, like we said we were gonna do a little bit ago, but this time for real, as we'll be back with game 2 of Osmium versus DogChamp. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll see you in a bit.